Selected. Screen recording. Button. Direct. Eymerich Il Demone.
Play. Tutorial. Basic tutorial. Exploration tutorial. Dialogue tutorial. Battle tutorial. Endless mode. Main menu. Basic tutorial.
Welcome to the Eymerich video game, The Demon. This accessible guide will help you understand how to move around in this role-playing adventure game. The game is divided into 3 main phases: exploration, dialogue, and battle. Everything works in well-identified turns, so do not rush and think well about the action you are about to take. The entire game can be controlled mainly swiping in the 4 directions to move and tapping to select or interact. Swiping right with 2 fingers will activate the radar function for targets nearby, and swiping up with 2 fingers to inspect the inventory.
Repeat this tutorial. Back to tutorial. Basic tutorial.
Welcome to the Eymerich video game, The Demon. This accessible guide will help you understand how to move around in this role-playing adventure game. The game is divided into 3 main phases: exploration, dialogue, and battle. Everything works in well-identified turns, so do not rush and think well about the action you are about to take. The entire game can be controlled mainly swiping in the 4 directions to move and tapping to select or interact. Swiping right with 2 fingers will activate the radar function for targets nearby, and swiping up with 2 fingers to inspect the inventory.
Repeat this tutorial. Back to tutorial. Basic tutorial. Main menu. Endless mode tutorial. Battle tutorial. Dialogue. Exploration. Basic tutorial. Exploration tutorial.
In this phase you will be able to freely move on a chessboard, point of view shot, with long steps always of the same length, in 4 directions: north, south, west, east. You'll have to sharpen your wits and open your ears to find the right track and memorize the map. Swipe up and down direction keys to move forward or backward. Swipe left and right keys to turn around. At every step Eymerich touches the walls around him, always in this order: left, front and right. Then you will feel a slight tap for any obstacles that surround you. You will then be able to identify walls or corridors in advance. Tap to interact with the object or character in front of you, pick up an object or use the passage for the next map. Swipe right with 2 fingers to highlight the various objectives in the map. A sound will suggest you the direction of the next recommended stage, but will still need your wits to figure out what to do. Swipe left with 2 fingers to indicate the current cardinal direction. To open the game menu, swipe up with 2 fingers. To get more information, scroll through the objects in your inventory, or just return to the main menu.
Repeat this tutorial. Back to tutorial. Basic tutorial. Main menu. Basic tutorial. Exploration. Dialogue. Battle. Endless mode. Main menu. Endless battle tutorial.
When the word is not enough, you have to switch to the strong manners. Each character has 2 main statistics: health points and faith points. The health points determine the strength of your physical attacks and your physical health. Going to 0 will mean the premature end of the Inquisitor. Faith points determine your spiritual strength and therefore the strength of your special attacks, as well as your ability to believe in your actions. Those who have little faith can be paralyzed by fear or take rash actions. The actions you can perform during the fight will be: 1. Physical attack. You must quickly tap to charge the attack as much as you can. 2. Faith attack. You will have swipe in the right direction following the voice instructions. 3. Guard. You must tap button at the moment of the most intense sound to maximize the parry. Remember, faith needs concentration. Therefore the physical attack negatively affects the faith. Faith overcomes the guard, but the guard contrasts the physical. Swipe up or down to scroll through the options, and P to select or interact with the minigame.
Repeat this tutorial. Back to tutorial. Basic to main menu. Endless battle to dialogue tutorial.
When you start talking to a person or solving a riddle, the Inquisitor will stop and you will be presented with different options. The dialogue will evolve following your choices. Swipe up or down to scroll through the options, and tap to select or skip the current phrase.
Repeat this tutorial. Back to tutorial. Basic. Main menu. Main menu. Play. Exit. Credits. Option. Tutorial. Options. Options menu. Language. Main menu.
Menus music.
Language.
Menus music. Set or mute the background music. Set music. Mute.
Main menu. Main menu. Main menu. Main menu. Play. Exit. Play. Quit. Press escape again to quit. Confirm. Cancel.
Football business. Eymerich Il Demone. Eymerich Il Demone. Direct touch area.
Nicolas Eymerich Il Demone.
Main menu. Play. Play menu. Choose. New game. Do you want to start a new game?
West.
Night has fallen on Calcares, with its shadows and its demons. It's time, but perhaps I should first review my notes and analyze all the events that have led me here. See notes for a summary of the story so far. Anno Domini 1364. I have traveled to the village of Calcares at the request of Father Jean Vinet, prior of Carcassonne. Plague is rife in the village, unleashed by the forces of hell, which have taken the form of Demeter, the infernal charioteer accompanied by Diana and Medusa. The local parish priest has fled, barring the church. Even the inquisitor sent to investigate before me, Father Jacinto Corona of Valladolid, is my old acquaintance, has not sent news for over a month. Go on. Never mind. Go on. Strangely, this plague seems to only affect men, as though it were a misandrous punishment, while women suffer another scourge. There are rumors in the village about a ghost that makes fertile women pregnant with two-faced babies that then mysteriously disappear. The ghost's appearance, the arrival of the plague, and the births of deformed infants all began with the summer solstice. It is clear that all these phenomena share the same origin, but that origin is still unknown. Go on. I immediately noticed that some buildings in the village reveal signs of prosperity, uncharacteristic of a mountain village. The fact that Calcares does not have any kind of industry raises further suspicion. The Cistercians formerly managed the village and paid tribute owed to the lord out of their own pocket, handing them over to the bailiff. A noblewoman named Reinilde de Montfort acted as intermediary, but she vanished when the plague began. Her disappearance disrupted the shady network and the village fell into disrepair. Go on.
Eymerich Il Demone. Group. Eymerich Il Demone. Ref 5. Column. Screen curtain off. Eymerich Il Demone. Direct touch area.
The Cistercians previously hired mercenaries to quarantine the village. How the order could have such resources and the reason for such secrecy was a mystery to me. I therefore had to access the monastery, but first, I had to find Father Corona. For some time, Jacinto had been frequenting the tavern in the inn, focusing more on getting drunk than accomplishing his mission. I know Jacinto, and I know that such behavior is not in keeping with his character. Indeed, After I located him, Father Corona explained to me that drinking was the only way he could sleep without being besieged by horrific nightmares involving snakes and lewd visions. Go on. I brought Jacinto back to his senses, and, with his help, we purified the heretic village, setting it on fire, and then set off towards the monastery. When we reached the abbey gate, 3 women approached us. They were clearly followers of the new cult. Aided by the demon, they hoped to lead us astray with their woman's wiles. Go on. But Jacinto and I turned these tricks against them, and they fell victim to their own deceptions. Before killing herself, one of them informed us that the way to the monastery will only be revealed by the Mother Goddess at nightfall. We returned to the inn to rest, waiting for nightfall in order to finally face the demon. Excellent. I'll find Father Corona downstairs. Let's go meet him and then set off.
East.
At your left, hook. In front of you there is hook.
Tap to interact.
You found an alchemical manual, a dangerous text in the wrong hands. You found the hook that I extracted from the wall.
South.
An obstacle. An obstacle.
East.
At your left, door.
East.
An obstacle. At your right, door. In front of you. An obstacle. At your right, door. In front of you there is door. In front of you there is door. An obstacle. At your right, door. At your right, stairs. A passage. Press to change map. Loading map.
Game saved.
I am inside the Inn Aurore. The tavern in the inn. A stinking pigsty only suitable for outcasts and drunkards. The innkeeper sent away the last patrons just after nightfall. Fortunately, he forgot to put out the fire, which is the only source of light. In front of you there is Corona.
Tap to interact.
Jacinto, I hope you haven't begun drinking again in my absence.
Oh, no, Magister. Not a drop, I assure you.
Good, because we'll need all our wits about us tonight. Come on, it's time to head to the monastery. An obstacle. At your right, cupboard. In front of you there is cupboard.
Tap to interact.
You found a small mortar, useful for cooks and alchemists. At your right, cupboard. At your right, cupboard. An obstacle. In front of you, you found a candle tallow.
South.
At your left, cupboard. An obstacle. At your right, cupboard. In front of you there is cupboard. An obstacle. An obstacle. At your right, cupboard. In front of you. An obstacle.
South.
An obstacle. At your right, cupboard. At your right. An obstacle. At your right, cupboard. An obstacle.
North.
At your left, cupboard. An obstacle.
South. East.
Menu. In party statistics. Inventory. Part go back to game. Go to main menu. Quit. Go back to game. An obstacle.
East.
An obstacle. In loading map. A passage. Press to change map.
Game saved.
I am on the road in front of the inn.
East.
The inn overlooks the main street of the village. There is a well in the center. Next to it, there is a cross on top of a column, as is customary in many other villages. The black brushwood that surrounds it is a sinister metaphor for the threat that the church is facing here. In front of you there is stone cross. An obstacle. That's an obstacle. At your right, well with rope. In front of you there is well with rope.
Tap to interact.
You You found a rope, worn but robust enough. That's your right well. In front of you there is well. In front of you there is exit. A passage. Press to change map. Loading map.
Game saved.
I am on the road that leads to the church. The streets are deserted. The moonlight gives the houses a rather eerie atmosphere. The church's tall bell tower resembles a giant shrouded in darkness. The only other light comes from the peak on which the monastery stands, along with a small, flickering light from a house that is remarkably larger than the others. At your left, a small wedge. In front of you there is a small wedge.
Tap to interact.
Found a small wedge. An obstacle. God tell.
East.
The wall of this house is covered with strange white crystals. It's saltpeter. Try to scrape a little off. Try to scrape a little off with the wedge. Try to scrape a little off with the wedge. Try to scrape a little off. I can't scrape it off with my fingernails. I need a tool. Scrape a little off. Scrape a little off with the wedge. Scrape a little off with the wedge. Perfect. I think that'll be enough. I don't think I need this wedge anymore. An obstacle. Parties to inventory. Inventory. An alchemical manual. A dangerous text in the wrong hands. The hook that I extracted. A small mortar. A candle tallow. A rope. Worn, but robust enough. Some saltpeter. It will be useful to prepare gunpowder. Nothing else. Inventory. The hook that I extract. A small mortar. Useful for cooks. A rope. Some saltpeter. It will be useful to prepare gunpowder. Nothing else. Inventory. An alchemical manual. A dangerous. A small mortar. Repeat inventory. Go back. Eymerich has
16.
health points and
34.
faith points. Corona has
24.
health points and
16.
faith points. Eymerich has
16. 34.
Corona has
20.
Help.
16.
faith. Eymerich has
16. 34.
faith points. Has
24. 16.
Has
16.
health
34.
faith points. Corona
24.
health points and
16. 16.
health points and
34.
Corona has
24. 16.
Eymerich has
16.
health point.
34.
Corona has
Eymerich Il Demone. TikTok. Private video. Doc. Music. Message. Phone. Eymerich Il Demone. Eymerich Il Demone. Direct touch area.
Nicolas Eymerich Il Demone.
main menu. Play menu. Choose. Do you want to start a new game? Play new game. Confirm. Go back. Confirm. Go back. Play menu. Choose. New game. New game. Load save game. You have chosen load game. Do you confirm?
East.
The streets are deserted. The moonlight gives the houses a rather eerie atmosphere. The church's tall bell tower resembles a giant shrouded in darkness. The only other light comes from the peak on which the monastery stands, along with a small, flickering light from a house that is remarkably larger than the others. In front of you there is a small wedge.
Tap to
A small wedge. An obstacle. An In front of you there is exit. A passage. Press to change map. Loading map.
game saved.
I am on the road in front of the inn.
West.
Nothing else. Nothing else. At your right, exit. Nothing else. In front of you there is exit. A passage. Press to change map. Loading map.
Game saved.
I am on the road that leads to the church. At your left, exit. In front of you there is exit. Loading map.
Game saved.
I am on the road in front of the inn. Nothing else. An obstacle. At your... In front... Nothing else. An obstacle. At your right, well. In front of you... At your left. In front of you... Nothing else. In front of you there is exit. A passage. Press to change map. Loading map.
Game saved.
I am on the road that leads to the church. At your... At your right, exit. An obstacle. In party statistics, go back to game. An obstacle. An obstacle. At your left, exit. In front of you there is exit.